Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. In this episode, it's going to be Paul Robinson and his fantastic goal against Watford. Taking it back now a long time ago. And quite frankly, one of the greatest keeper goals ever in the Premier League and in the history of football. So we've got to slot this one on, the light bulb moment. Episode 4. How are you today, John?
I'm good, mate. All right.
Yeah, all good. So, I remember actually the first memory of this goal was because the game wasn't on TV. We weren't on TV a lot back in the days, were we?
Can't remember, actually. I don't think so. Yeah, not as much as we are now, anyway.
No chance. Yeah, and I just remember getting a call from my dad saying, Paul Robinson scored, because I had it on the radio and everything, but I was like, I must have been a lot younger. And I remember my dad calling me saying, Paul Robinson scored. And I was like, is the phone crackling up or what? Like, what's going on here? And I saw it and honestly watched it about 10 times. And then the game after, I went to the next game and everyone was singing, because I must have honestly been about 6. And everyone was singing, shoot, whenever Paul Robinson had the ball. But because I was so young, I thought they were booing him. So I just started booing him, not knowing what was going on. Like, literally, I didn't have a clue, just joining in.
Like, your own players.
Yeah. And then later on, I sort of clocked, but I didn't realise when I was there, being so young. But he was almost a cult hero just for that. And whatever happened, he would always be remembered. That was his special moment, wasn't it?
Wow, you were 6 years old, blimey.
I must have been. Yeah, I was very young.
Old, man.
I know, but Spurs born and bred though. I had no choice.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of memories considering how young.
That it's funny with Robinson. We loved him. We absolutely adored him, didn't we? I mean,
for sure.
It's funny how much we loved it. It was a shame that his career sort of tailed off. I think after that that howler for England where the ball bobbled over his foot, I think you could see it just drained his confidence out of him. And when I was watching him for Spurs, he looked really, really on edge the whole time. But apart from that, the first few years we had him, I thought he was a great shot stopper, you know, and
it was big for him. And it was big for the club when he got into the England side as well, wasn't it? Because, you know, being a sort of mid-table side that we were at the time, having a goalkeeper, like a number one goalkeeper in England, it was special. And it was disappointing how it went, obviously, that big mistake. But certainly at the time, he held us down very well for how long was he in the squad for? How many years? Was he I don't know.
We signed him in around the same time as Defoe and Carrick in about 2003, I think.
Yeah, so he was there. He must have been there for a while.
He was there for a long time. Yeah, we had
and then it went to Gomez, didn't it? Was it to Friedel/Gomez? Thought that was a lot dodgier.
It went from Robinson to Gomez. And I actually remember thinking, Gomez, wow, you know, like because Robinson, when he was getting so nervous that he wasn't actually stepping off his goal line, you know, to risk catching the ball. And then when we got Gomez, it was the complete opposite. He was going for absolutely everything. And I thought, wow, he's like an octopus. This is like what we need. Yeah. And obviously, the errors started to slip in with Gomez as well. But we actually loved him as well, funny enough.
But the Butterfingers quote sort of slipped in eventually, ironically. Yeah. But up until the goal against Watford, Paul Robinson was quality, wasn't he? And
he was. I mean, he was never top draw in my opinion, but he was definitely a good asset for us. And
we weren't top draw either at the time as well. So
we weren't either.
Position we were in.
Relatively, I actually think that he was very, very good for us at the time. And he was part of that Yol revolution, you know, where we really started to make our way up the league and cement that place in 5th, you know. And I've got a question for you, Joe. Do you know how many goalies have scored for Spurs?
That is a good question. I'm going to go, it's a complete guess.
Yeah.
3. I'm going to go 3 because back in the day, you know.
Yeah. I think there's only 2, but I could be wrong on this. But leave a comment in the comment section, everyone.
Yeah, if you know.
I think the other one is Pat Jennings. He actually scored from his own penalty box, from his own area.
Yeah. So, wow, that is incredible. To be fair, though, thinking about it, it must have been harder back in the day because you know how the pitch was always so muddy. Yeah. Like going back like 30 years, the pitch was like muddier and worse, so the ball wouldn't have bounced as much. So if it's gonna especially when the pitches weren't as great. So, but no, I think to have 2 is pretty good. But
2 is pretty good, and they're both similar as well.
Exactly. It's just the way it bounced over the keeper, and he looked, and everyone's just thinking, is this actually going to happen? Like, it's so funny to see. Man.
And I just had this, image of Rocker, Dawson, and Mido. I think all coming to they jump him. But no, Robinson,
exactly.
Great goalie, great character. I mean, lovable character. I mean, we still love him. I was actually going through the list of nicknames for Spurs players, and next to Robinson, apart from Robbo, it had ENO. And I was like, what's ENO? It's like England's number one. And that was his nickname. On the, I was like, that's cool. You know, they've actually made that a nickname.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But that's actually a good way to finish because, of course, we've got Lloris now. We had Bradford. We had Gomez. Do you would you, in an ideal world, do you care if we've got an English keeper? Is that like a cool thing to have?
I do. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but it is nice to have a team of English players. Like, I do like it, the fact that there was a time, especially under Harry Redknapp, where we had a lot of English players, and I did like that about us.
I think it means just a bit more in terms of, it's like having a local boy like Harry Winks and Harry Kane. You like just sort of that local feeling, of course. But when you've got players like Bale coming in from Wales, you got Berbatov. But no, it's not so much a problem when they're playing well. But in an ideal world, it would be cool to have England's number one at Spurs on Spurs' in Spurs' net again, wouldn't it? But,
it might still happen soon. So
you never know. That's a good way to end it. Anyway, thank you for watching.
Thanks, Joe.
Till next time. Thank you, mate.
Come on, you Spurs.
Pretty in sync, that one.
Yeah.
See you next time.